Very, very bad. Let's bring in our good friend Aaron Boone from ESPN. Aaron, you played in the game when Laz Diaz was an umpire. He has that reputation. How aggravating is that for a player?
Well, it can be. I have a different view of Laz, though. I've always viewed him as someone that's slow to anger. Yes, he has a lot of personality, but for the most part, I've found him to be easy to talk to, easy to communicate with. So I don't know if I view him as a controversial figure like some of the umpires in the league that, you know, you can name some names that I feel like go looking for trouble or want to announce their authority or want to be seen. I don't necessarily view Laz that way. He has personality, yes, but I think for the most part, he has a very good relationship with players.
But when you
let me. Did you see what he did with Sean Kelly though? I mean, how is that even right for an umpire to do something like that, to treat a player like he's a 12-year-old?
I don't love it, but at the same time, I think he's also trying to give him every opportunity. I've heard enough. Just go. I don't want to hear anymore. Go. And no, did he handle it the right way? Probably not. He could have walked over and said sternly one time, I've heard enough, walk away. That's probably the best way to do it. You don't like the little shooing thing, but I think the shooing in a way was giving Phelps time to go. You're about to go. And I think that's one of those situations where I think the player was just going to eventually wanting to go and wanting to get a reason to say his piece.
Now, when he's arguing with Girardi, Diaz, they're in each other's face, and you see Diaz screaming back. What can an umpire be screaming back? It's done. It's over. It can't be changed. It's not reviewable. So he doesn't have to sit there and argue his case. So why is he screaming back at Girardi?
Well, it was a pretty animated argument. I mean, he was getting peppered pretty good. So, again, in a perfect world, you have the umpire say, you know, the call is what it is, and walk away. But if a manager is going to go at it with you, and Joe that's about as hot as I think I've ever seen him. I mean, his veins were popping out and everything. I would say about 90 to 100% of the umpires that get verbally attacked like that or engaged in an argument like that are going to respond back in an argumentative way.
Well, I don't think they should.
Okay.
Because it escalates the situation, Aaron, doesn't it? I mean, you wouldn't see if you screamed at a police officer that pulled you over. I don't think that police officer would be screaming at you back. He probably would lock you up, right? So,
well, true, but I think right now we're seeing way less of those situations with replay involved now. So it's rare that we see these confrontations, but at the end of the day, they're going to happen from time to time, and 90 or 100%. So unless you absolutely mandate that these umpires walk away, but you get in these arguments between manager and umpire, especially when a manager blows a gasket and is really getting involved, you're going to see the umpires respond back and go at it with them.
Talking with Aaron Boone here on the Michael Kay Show. Aaron, the Yankees are having a lot of problems lately getting hits with runners in scoring position. They had the bases loaded in the eighth inning, nobody out. Gardner strikes out. Jeter hits into a double play. When it starts to go to 4, 5, 6 games, does it then become a self-fulfilling prophecy where players put even more pressure on themselves?
Oh, I think that certainly happens throughout the course of a season where you go through, unless you have a season like last year where the Cardinals hit 350 or whatever, 340 as a team with runners in scoring position, you're going to have those peaks and valleys in a season where it seems like you're really struggling to get that hit. And conversely, when everything's kind of clicking, where it gets a little bit contagious, I think it happens throughout the course of the season, and it's so bad. And hitting's not about trying harder. It's about just being very good within your skill set and doing your thing. But those are the peaks and valleys of the season that are going to happen, and you got to you got to just grind your way through it. And I think a lot of times you'll see what breaks things out is either the long ball, where guys get into some balls and you start relaxing because you get a little bit of a lead, or something small in the course of a game that can really turn. Maybe it's leadoff double and we got the guy over with a good bat. The next guy, with 2 strikes was able to put the ball in play or hit a sacrifice fly. Those are things that makes everyone feel good and feel like everyone's contributing, and then that can sometimes break the ice and turn things around for you as a team.
Aaron, the Mets need a closer. Henry Mejia has been great as a starter to a point. Then he starts getting hit usually around the 5th, 6th inning. Would you give him a shot at being a closer, or would you still kind of wait and see if he can be a starting pitcher this season?
Man, I think it's tempting to really make that determination that he can be a starter and be a key part of your future. However, if you get to a point where you say, hey, man, maybe he's not part of the long-term situation as a starter, then, and we feel like he has the stuff, the repertoire to be a closer, absolutely, because the Mets are on the come, and there's light at the end of the tunnel there, and you feel like the makings are there for an outstanding rotation by next year and certainly the year after. So to start defining some key roles within your bullpen, within your starting rotation, that's going to be a key part of the evaluation process these coming weeks and coming months as they head into the second half of the season, and more importantly, probably even in the next year.
Talking with Aaron Boone here on the Michael Kay Show. Aaron, final thing. Yesterday, before he got his first hit of 2, Derek Jeter was 0 for his last 14. I think something like 3 for 28. And before the game, he said, when you slump, when you're 40, people are going to say it's because you're old. And then Joe Girardi was asked, have you had any thoughts about moving Jeter down in the lineup? He said no. And they said, well, how would you do it? Do you think it would be tough? He said, no, I think Derek would accept it. Well, you were a teammate of Derek's, and if the slumping continues, and again, he did get 2 hits last night, do you think it would be a problem to move him down in the lineup?
No, and I was interested to hear Girardi's comments of, saying, actually, Derek's very easy to talk to, and at the end, you think he's all about winning. So I don't think they're at that point where they need to do that yet. And last night he took a lot of good swings. I think even when he hit into the double play, hit the ball hard.
Yep.
So I don't think they're really close to that point. But if that point comes, I think you have that conversation, and you're talking about a team that expects to be in the postseason. So you're going to do everything in the end to give your team the best opportunity to win games. And I think Derek understands that. But I don't believe they're at that point.
But isn't that an ego blow, though? Go from 1st or 2nd down to 8th or 9th?
I'm sure on some level it is. On some level it is, but I don't think they're at that point. And, that's part of sports, part of professional sports. And you need to be able to get through those things if you're going to have your team's best interest at heart.
Now, Aaron, I know I did say final question. It's not the first time I've lied, so I do have another one for you.
Mm-hmm.
All I've seen against this Yankee team all year, and the Yankees do it too, 3-man shifts on one side of the diamond, and nobody tries to go the other way other than Brian McCann.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Those are free hits, Aaron. They're free hits. Why wouldn't you take them?
I think that's the next wave. I think you're going to start to see that happen. I think when you're a certain way, it's hard to just say, I'm going to change. I don't think it's as simple as people think, that I'm just going to change my swing and hit a little soft grounder over here. And then on balance, what does it mean? Is it changing everything to eventually take away your strength as a player, which may be pulling the ball with power? But I think we're going to see over time more and more guys drop down a bunt become part of every slugger or every pull person's kind of their game. And I think you're going to see maybe the next wave of players where hitting the ball to all fields becomes more important of a criteria in evaluating a player, because these shifts are clearly something that's here to stay.
Aaron, great stuff as always, and we'll talk to you real soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Aaron.